Did you know that during the last major hurricane, thousands of people were stranded without life-saving medications? Not because they couldn't afford them, but because every pharmacy for miles was shut down? We're talking insulin, heart meds, asthma inhalers, gone in an instant. And here's the truth. It could happen again, anywhere. Before making this video, I dug deep, researched drug shortages, talked to pharmacists, and looked into what happened during past emergencies. What I found? Alarming. Prices are rising, supply chains are shaky, and when disaster hits, convenience stores won't save you. So stick around. I'm about to show you the 11 essential medications you should never leave home without in case of an emergency. And if you're someone who travels, eats out often, or wants to be prepared without overspending, you need to hear this. Drop a comment below. Have you ever struggled to get your medication due to a shortage, price hike, or power outage? Let's hear your story, because this is more common than you think. Number 11, antihistamines, Benadryl, Claritin. Let's start with one of the most underrated but incredibly important meds you should always have handy, antihistamines, like Benadryl or Claritin. Now, you might be thinking, wait, that's just for allergies, right? And yeah, that's true. But here's the thing. When you're in an emergency situation, even a mild allergic reaction can turn into a big problem if you don't have the right tools to handle it. Imagine this. You're stuck at home during a storm, no power, and your kid gets stung by a bee. Or maybe you're on a camping trip and come into contact with poison ivy. Even something as simple as eating a dish that has an ingredient you didn't know you were sensitive to could send your body into overdrive. That's where antihistamines come in. They help stop your body's over-the-top reaction to allergens, things like pollen, bug bites, pet dander, or even certain foods. Benadryl works fast, which is great if you need quick relief, but it can also make you sleepy, so keep that in mind if you're driving or working. Claritin, on the other hand, is what we call a non-drowsy formula. It still fights allergies, but without knocking you out midday. Both are solid choices to have in your emergency kit. If you have kids, pets, or spend time outdoors, antihistamines aren't optional. They're essential. And here's something a lot of people don't realize. Even minor allergic reactions can get worse if left untreated. That little itch today could turn into swelling, hives, or trouble breathing tomorrow, especially if you can't get to a doctor quickly. In disaster zones or areas with limited medical access, having a few doses of antihistamines can literally prevent a small issue from becoming a major emergency. Also, let's not forget seasonal allergies. If you live in a place where spring means sneezing season, being caught without meds can ruin your day or week. Imagine trying to focus on work, drive safely, or take care of your family while your eyes water and your nose won't stop running. Antihistamines help you feel like yourself again. And in a stressful situation, that matters more than you think. They're also super affordable and easy to find. Most generic versions cost just a few bucks, and they come in multiple forms. Pills, liquids, even topical creams for skin reactions. So whether you're packing for a road trip, building a first aid kit, or just making sure you're ready for whatever life throws at you, don't skip the antihistamines. They may seem simple, but in an emergency, they're anything but. Number 10, pain relievers. You've probably got one of these in your medicine cabinet already, maybe even both. But here's the thing, most people don't realize just how essential pain relievers like ibuprofen, Advil, and acetaminophen Tylenol are, especially when you're stuck in an emergency. Let's say you're stuck at home during a snowstorm, no power, no heat, and suddenly you've got a splitting headache or a throbbing toothache, or maybe you lifted something heavy while prepping for a storm and now your back is screaming at you. That's when you'll wish you had these two little lifesavers on hand. Now, here's the difference between them, because it does matter. Ibuprofen works by reducing inflammation. That makes it great for things like muscle pain, menstrual cramps, sprains, or swelling. It also brings down fevers and can help if you catch a bug during a stressful time. Acetaminophen, on the other hand, doesn't fight inflammation, but it's gentler on the stomach and still powerful against pain and fever. If you've got an upset tummy or sensitive digestion, Tylenol might be your go-to. Both are important to have, not just for comfort, but for safety. Because pain isn't just annoying, it can affect your ability to think clearly, move around, or take care of others in an emergency. Number 9, antibiotic ointment. You might not think of antibiotic ointment as an emergency must-have, but here's the truth. Even a tiny cut or scrape can turn into a big problem if it gets infected. Imagine this. You're stuck at home during a power outage and you grab a rusty can opener from the back of the pantry. Next thing you know, you've got a small cut on your finger. No big deal, right? Wrong. Without clean water, soap, or proper treatment, that little scratch could easily become red, swollen, and painful. In an emergency situation, especially one where medical care is hard to reach, infections spread fast. That's where a simple tube of antibiotic ointment, like Neosporin, becomes a lifesaver. It creates a protective barrier over the wound and fights off bacteria before it gets a chance to cause trouble. It's also super easy to use. Just a small dab on a clean cut or burn and you're good. And don't forget about burns either. Minor kitchen burns happen all the time, especially when you're cooking without power or using open flames. A bit of antibiotic cream and a clean bandage can make all the difference. This stuff is cheap, lasts for years, and takes up almost no space in your emergency kit. And unlike other medications, there's no risk of overdose. Just a quick application whenever you need it. Plus, it's great for more than just cuts. Bug bites, chapped skin, or even cracked hands from constant washing. Antibiotic ointment helps them all heal faster and with less irritation. If you have kids or pets, this becomes even more important. Kids are always running around, falling down, and getting scraped up. Pets can get little wounds too. Having something on hand that stops infections before they start, that's peace of mind. So whether you're hiking in the woods, camping in the desert, or just trying to survive a weekend of DIY home projects, don't leave home without it. Because in an emergency, even the smallest injuries can slow you down unless you're prepared. Number 8. Antacids. Raise your hand if you've ever overeaten at a food truck, had too many tacos at dinner, or grabbed something off the menu that just didn't agree with you. Yeah, we've all been there. And when that happens, nothing hits harder than heartburn or an upset stomach. That's where antacids like Tums or Pepto-Bismol come in, and why they absolutely belong in your emergency kit. Now, I know what you're thinking. This is for emergencies, not just indigestion. But here's the thing. During stressful times, power outages, or when you're stuck on the road, your meals get unpredictable fast. You might end up eating something old, spicy, or questionable from a gas station cooler, or maybe you're stressed and eating way faster than normal. Either way, your stomach pays the price. And trust me, being stuck in a car, hotel room, or shelter with no relief, that's no fun. Tums work fast to neutralize stomach acid and calm heartburn, especially after a heavy meal. They're chewable, portable, and perfect for quick fixes. Pepto-Bismol, on the other hand, tackles more than just heartburn. It helps with nausea, bloating, and even diarrhea, which can be super useful if you're dealing with sketchy food or contaminated water. Both are small, shelf-stable, and incredibly easy to carry. You can toss a pack of Tums in your glove compartment or stash a travel-sized bottle of Pepto in your bag without even noticing. Number 7. Motion sickness meds. Raise your hand if you've ever been stuck on a road trip, boat ride, or even a long bus journey and suddenly realized you forgot your motion sickness meds. Yeah, it's not fun. And when you're in an emergency situation where stress is high and options are low, feeling nauseous can make everything 10 times worse. That's why having something like Dramamine or another motion sickness medication in your emergency kit is smarter than you think. Now, I know what you're thinking. Motion sickness? Really? But here's the deal. During evacuations, natural disasters, or sudden travel plans, you might not get to choose your transportation. One minute you're evacuating ahead of a hurricane, the next you're crammed into a rescue boat or swerving down winding roads in a packed van, and if your stomach doesn't handle movement well, that ride goes from stressful to miserable fast. Dramamine works by calming the inner ear signals that trigger nausea. It's super effective for cars, boats, planes, and even amusement park rides, but in an emergency, it could mean the difference between being able to function or spending the whole time with your head out the window. It's also small, shelf-stable, and easy to pack. You don't need much, just 1 or 2 tablets per person, and they last for years. Plus, some versions even come in chewable form or non-drowsy formulas, so you can pick what works best for you. Number 6, epinephrine auto-injector, EpiPen, if prescribed. If you or someone in your family has a severe allergy, this medication isn't just important, it's life-saving. We're talking about the epinephrine auto-injector, most commonly known as the EpiPen. Now, I want to be very clear, this is not a medication you keep just in case. It's only for people who have been diagnosed with severe allergies and prescribed this device by a doctor. But if that describes you or someone you care for, then this should be number 1 on your emergency list. Imagine this. You're at a family cookout, someone eats a bite of grilled shrimp, and within minutes their throat starts closing up. Or maybe a bee sting sends your body into full panic mode. That's anaphylaxis, a dangerous, fast-moving allergic reaction. And when it hits, every second counts. Without immediate treatment, it can lead to difficulty breathing, loss of consciousness, or even death. That's where the EpiPen comes in. One quick injection into the thigh delivers a powerful dose of epinephrine that can stop the reaction in its tracks, giving you time to get to emergency help. Here's the scary part. During emergencies like power outages, natural disasters, or evacuations, access to hospitals and ambulances can be delayed. That makes having an EpiPen on hand even more critical. Also, many people don't realize how fast these devices expire. Most EpiPens last only 12 to 18 months, so checking the expiration date regularly is a must, and they're not cheap either. With prices rising over the years, some families struggle to afford replacements. But let me tell you, there are no real substitutes in an emergency. This is one thing you cannot skip. Number 5. Inhaler. If you or someone in your life has asthma, then you already know how quickly things can go from normal to scary. That tightness in the chest, the wheezing, the sudden panic when it feels like you can't catch your breath. And when that happens, especially during an emergency, having your inhaler close by isn't just comforting, it's essential. Now, just like with the EpiPen, this one is only for people who have been diagnosed and prescribed an inhaler by a doctor. But if that's you, listen up. Because during stressful times, extreme weather, or even a simple change in air quality, your asthma can flare up without warning. Imagine being stuck outside during a wildfire smoke alert, or caught in a cold snap after a power outage, or even dealing with dust and debris after a storm. These situations can trigger asthma symptoms fast, and if you don't have your inhaler on hand, things can get dangerous. Here's the thing, inhalers are small, portable, and easy to forget, which makes them easy to leave behind. But trust me, there's nothing worse than needing one and realizing yours is still sitting on the kitchen counter while you're miles away. Also, inhalers have expiration dates, and many people don't check them until it's too late. So make sure to swap out your inhaler before it goes bad and keep a backup in your emergency kit if you can. Number 4, anti-diarrheal Imodium. Let's talk about something most people don't want to admit, but everyone has experienced at some point. That sudden, urgent stomach issue that hits you out of nowhere. Maybe it was that questionable street taco, or the mystery dish at a family reunion, or maybe you were just caught in a stressful situation and your gut decided to shut down on you. Whatever the cause, when diarrhea hits, especially during an emergency, it's more than just uncomfortable. It can be seriously limiting. That's where Imodium, or generic loperamide, comes in. And trust me, it deserves a spot in your emergency kit. Now, I know what you're thinking, diarrhea, really? But here's the deal. During disasters, evacuations, or even long road trips, access to clean food and water gets limited fast. And when that happens, digestive issues go through the roof. One bad bite, one sketchy gas station sandwich, or even stress-induced digestion can leave you sidelined for hours or days. Imodium works by slowing down your digestive system so your body can recover. It doesn't cure whatever made your stomach mad in the first place, but it gives you control back. And in a crisis, having control over your body means being able to take care of yourself, your family, or keep moving if needed. It's also super compact, shelf-stable, and affordable. A small pack can last years, takes up no space, and can make all the difference when you're stuck somewhere without a bathroom nearby. For travelers, foodies, and anyone who eats out often, this should be non-negotiable. Because whether you're exploring new cuisines or just surviving a power outage with canned goods from 2019, sometimes your stomach fights back. Number 3, hydrocortisone cream. Let's talk about something that might not seem urgent at first glance, but can quickly turn into a huge problem if you're caught without it. Itchy, inflamed skin, that's where hydrocortisone cream comes in, and why it deserves a permanent spot in your emergency kit. Now, I know what you're thinking. It's just a rash, right? But here's the deal. When you're stuck in a situation where hygiene is limited, stress is high, or you're spending more time outdoors than usual, even minor skin issues can become major annoyances fast. Imagine this. You're on a camping trip and brush up against some poison ivy, or maybe you're stuck outside during a heat wave and develop a nasty heat rash under your clothes, or perhaps you've got eczema or dry skin that flares up when the weather changes. Without treatment, these things don't just itch. They burn, swell, and sometimes even weep. And in a survival or emergency scenario, that kind of discomfort can distract you from staying alert, taking care of others, or getting to safety. Hydrocortisone cream is a mild steroid that reduces inflammation, redness, and itching fast. A quick dab can calm down a reaction within minutes and keep it from getting worse. And the best part, it's super affordable, easy to pack, and lasts for years. Just toss a small tube in your bag or glove compartment and forget about it until you really need it. For foodies who spend time in kitchens, travelers who hike through the woods, or anyone who's ever had a mosquito bite go rogue, this stuff is gold. Plus, it works on more than just rashes. Think bug bites, sunburn irritation, allergic skin reactions, even contact dermatitis from cleaning products or unknown plants. Number 2, nitroglycerin. Let's talk about something serious, because when it comes to heart health, seconds count and preparation can mean the difference between life and death. If you or someone you love has angina or a history of heart issues, then nitroglycerin is not just another medication, it's a lifesaver. Now, I want to be very clear. This is only for people who have been prescribed nitroglycerin by a doctor. It's not for general use, but if you fall into that high-risk group, this should always be within reach. Nitroglycerin works fast, like within minutes fast. When chest pain strikes, especially the crushing, pressure-like kind that radiates down your arm or up your neck, nitroglycerin helps open up blood vessels and get oxygen-rich blood flowing back to your heart. And in an emergency, that relief could buy you critical time while waiting for help. But here's the scary truth: during disasters, evacuations, or even stressful moments like traffic jams or cold weather, heart-related symptoms can flare up without warning. Imagine being stuck in a power outage during freezing temperatures, or caught in a sudden evacuation with no way to reach medical care quickly. In those moments, having your nitroglycerin on hand isn't just smart, it's essential. Also, many people don't realize that nitroglycerin has a short shelf life. Most tablets or sprays last only 6 months once opened, and storing them improperly, like leaving them in a hot car or bathroom, can make them less effective. Number 1, insulin or glucose tablets. Let's talk about something that affects millions of people across the US, yet often gets overlooked in emergency planning: diabetes. If you or someone you care for relies on insulin or glucose tablets, then this one isn't just important, it's life critical. Now, I want to be very clear. This is only for people who have been diagnosed and rely on these medications daily. But if that's you or someone in your family, then this should be at the very top of your emergency list. Here's why. In a normal day, managing blood sugar can already be a delicate balance. Now imagine that balance being thrown off during a power outage, natural disaster, or sudden evacuation, when refrigeration is gone, routines are disrupted, and stress levels are through the roof. Without access to insulin, blood sugar can spike dangerously fast, leading to confusion, fatigue, even coma or death. And for those using insulin, having too much or not eating enough, that can cause dangerously low blood sugar, which is just as life-threatening. That's where glucose tablets come in. If someone drops too low, these little tablets can bring them back fast, no food required, no waiting, just quick, reliable energy for the brain and body. Now, I want to hear from you. Did we miss anything? Have you ever been caught without a medication when you needed it most? Was it due to a shortage, price hike, or power outage? Thanks for watching, and remember, being ready isn't about fear, it's about peace of mind. Catch you in the next one.